And aloha, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Aloha. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday afternoon. We're just going to wait a little bit. You know the drill. If you're ever on a Zoom call or Facebook Live or any kind of live, we usually wait about 30 seconds before we get started. We're going to wait just a little bit. I am Dr. Addison with the Kauai Rice Street Business Association as the president. And we're so excited, super excited to be hosting our first Entrepreneur Hot Seat. And so I'm just gonna chat a little bit about it and then we'll get started with the whole program. First, we wanna thank all the people who made this possible. Thank you so much for making this possible. We wanna thank our panelists and the entrepreneur for jumping into the hot seat. This is the first hot seat for Kauai and we're super stoked. I'm pumped because I love every single one of these people on the panelists and our entrepreneur who is on hot seat. So I'm really excited for what we're going to do for today. So real quick, if people are just jumping on, welcome to the Entrepreneur Hot Seat hosted by the Rice Street Business Association. I am Dr. Addison. I am your co-host. I am the president of the Rice Street Business Association. It started 2 years ago as part of the growth of what's going on in downtown Lihue. We're super excited to be hosting the first Entrepreneur Hot Seat. Well, let's get this started. I'm pumped. I want to introduce our co-host. Please welcome Bria. Bria, thank you so much for doing this for us. Glad to have you here.
Hey, Addison, thank you so much. You guys, thanks for being a part of this. You know, our goal here is really to support innovation through a process of clarifying questions, reflections, and thoughtful feedback from a diversified panel of expertise. And we have a great team with us today, so we're super excited about that.
Yeah, I'm pumped. And if you're just jumping on, welcome. Thank you so much for participating and being a guest of the process. So we want to get this thing started, and we'll start with our panelists and introductions. So first off, we want to introduce one of our panelists, Tyler. I cannot say your name, so I'm just going to say that. Tyler, welcome so much for joining us. He's the owner of PacBuild. He's the chair of Cost Control Commission of County of Kauai. He's also the outgoing chair of the Kauai Chamber of Commerce and now sitting on the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce and also the co-chair of the Government Affairs Committee at the Chamber of Commerce. Hey, Tyler, can you share real quick some of the things that you hope to share tonight? Hey, Tyler, real quick, make sure you hit that unmute.
There we go. It's way better when you don't have it on mute. I guess for me, I would just like to help with the knowledge that I've had on all my learning curves throughout business. And I think that's probably one of the best things that you can pass down is all the things you've learned that you probably won't do again. And you've learned from those mistakes and you're kind of trying to, I would love to forward that on to other people. And that's pretty much the main goal for me in for this meeting today.
Awesome.
Great, thank you. Next up, we've got Kristal Muhich, and she's the owner of Kauai Juice Co. and Bone to be Wild. Her passion lies in creating products, manufacturing, and the health industry. At only 35, which was just last year, she was awarded Hawaii's Young Entrepreneur of the Year. And one of her strengths is knowing how to build a brand with lack of funding or education, being that she had neither when starting her first company. She's a mother to a 3-month-old Frankie Ray and a wife to her business partner, Dylan. So good to have you here, Kristal. Please share a little bit about just your intention and hope for what you hope to add to this dialogue today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited to hear from everybody. Really, same as Tyler, same as I'm sure with everybody. I'm just here to pass on any knowledge that I've learned. And also, you know, with all these uncertain times that are happening, I really hope that we can leave this feeling with Anna feeling kind of just so much encouragement and excitement instead of what I feel like a lot of is happening, which is people being scared and afraid. And we need to take this time to be excited about business because there's lots of opportunities. And so I feel like if we can achieve that by the end of this, then we'll be very successful. So.
Fantastic. Awesome. I want to introduce Warren Doi. Warren is an experienced entrepreneur who started his first company while he was in college. To broaden his perspective, he became a management consultant in London, in England, working for Fortune 500 companies around the globe. Then he started a series of venture-backed companies in the Silicon Valley. Now he's back home on the North Shore and volunteers his time on several nonprofit boards. Hey, Warren, what do you want to share for us today?
Well, I really just hope to add value, and really my mission since I came home is really to help create more synergy throughout our entrepreneurial community. So I congratulate Anna for putting herself out there and participating, and looking forward to diving right in.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Warren. Next up, we have Mahina Paishon-Duarte. She's a social entrepreneur that owns 3 Hawaii-based businesses and is a co-founder of a nonprofit with an aim to transform philanthropy in Hawaii. She and her ohana live on their small family farm and ranch in Kona, Hawaii. And on a good day, you can find Mahina surfing, diving, or in the forest where she is happiest. And we're especially so to have her here, the beauty of having a webinar. And so she's calling in from Kona. Mahina, share a little bit about what you hope to offer today in today's dialogue.
Yeah, aloha me kako. You know, first of all, I love Kauai. Kauai's got some of the best surf in the entire world. You guys are so blessed. Basically is that we know that Hawaii is one of the most biologically diverse places in the world, and one of the most ethnically diverse places in the world. So given COVID-19, I guess my big wondering is like, how do we create conversation around renewing and transforming our economy that is centered around the things that make us special and unique? We are a culture of kindness. We are a culture of generosity. We are a culture of aloha. And so how can we support you, Anna, in that endeavor? And then how can we support one another as a larger business community?
That's awesome. Last but not least on our panel, Michelle Rundbaken. She's the co-owner of Kauai Escape Room, Zest Kauai Wedding Films, and the newly launched subscription game Society of Curiosities. She's also had the honor of participating in the Blue Startups on Oahu. Hey, Michelle, what do you would like to share today with Anna?
So I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me. We're excited to talk to Anna and her new endeavors. I think one of the most exciting things is to help a Kauai entrepreneur maybe think beyond Kauai, because you can now. And the current situations have allowed us to think of new possibilities. So I've had a little experience with that, so I can help kind of, especially like what Tyler said, the help you avoid some of the pitfalls we've seen, and also help you explore some of the wonderful possibilities you're going to see.
Fantastic. And last but definitely not least, let's meet our entrepreneur, Anna Balazar. You're owner and founder of Barre Kauai, a business that was established in 2014. You've got 2 locations here in Lihue and Kapa'a. You're passionate about Barre and yoga, a foundation that allows optimal health and strength, and you believe that these exercises can be done for longevity in most bodies. You've always been a student of life, a lover of nature, adventure, travel, and family, a mother to 2 kids, and your biggest desire that you shared is to provide health and well-being to all women. So just welcome so much for being here. Is there any?
There you are. I got
Sorry.
you. I had to get off of mute. I just want to say thank you so much for everybody being here. I feel slightly overwhelmed that there's so much love, and also just rich feeling of this wanting to just give your knowledge to help support me. I'm just overwhelmed a little bit in that feeling, but I'm excited to learn from all of you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, before we get started, I just wanted to talk to the audience and attendees. If you're watching this back, I just realized this is going to be also open to you. But if you're an attendee and you're watching, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to post a link in the chat, but I want to ask all of you, if you can, if you have a chance to please fill out the feedback form on this event. We're looking to get feedback from you guys to see what we can improve on and how we can do things better. And if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur too, since we're here, If you fill that out, we are going to award you $30 Facebook ad just for filling that out, just because we're all about supporting entrepreneurs here, and that's what Wright Street Business Association is all about. All right, here we go. Bria, take it away. Let's get this started.
Okay, awesome. So just to kick us off here, we're going to start with Anna just sharing on 3 key pieces. What is going well? What is stuck or not working right now? And what specific question or challenge do you want to focus on for this session?
All right. So, what is going well? I feel like that mostly through this pandemic state that we're in, I feel like my health and my well-being are pretty in check. I feel really positive about what we're going through right now, only because there's space for creativity, a space to slow down. And I find myself with more time to do that. And I love that. I don't feel like I get a whole lot of it in my daily life, the normal life. I really do run around quite a bit. And I guess where I feel stuck is I seem to have a lot of, I don't know, moments. And there is, a lot of uncertainty right now. I do have 2 studios. We're functioning out of 1 studio. I decided to take our platform virtually at this time. And so we have a skeleton crew running classes, up to 3 classes a day that we do virtually and live stream. So our community has really appreciated that, and they love the classes. So that to me feels good. There's also a lot of people that have opted out and decided, this isn't what I want. I want to be in a studio and feel the community. And perhaps, a handful of those people are the ones that haven't even tried it. And so, all I can do is try to encourage them to try so that they can actually feel our community on a virtual state. And it really is different, but we also don't know how long we're going to be in this boat. So I think at some point it's going to take people a little bit longer to get to that stage where they will have to adapt and do bar with me. Maybe they just want to find other avenues of, working out. And I think whatever people choose is fine. Let's see, where do I feel stuck? The unknowns really are where I get stuck. I've thought about taking my platform maybe a little bit more on a bigger platform, like a bigger level where I can reach the masses. I don't know what that entails, and I don't know how to do it really. I think that one of my weaknesses and my challenges is the marketing around that. My other challenge is I love to teach, but I also can't teach all the classes. So I realize how important my teachers are to me. I also feel like I can probably teach max 3 classes a week, and only because it's different in a studio, I can walk around and adjust bodies and not have to teach the whole class. But when you're on camera, you're doing the entire class and it's kicking my booty. So I think for physical, sustaining my body, I have to kind of, figure out how to do what I do, create my team, and make sure that everybody's on board to help me teach those classes, or figure out a different way to do business. And I'm really open to it. I really love that, this time is helping us understand that we are shifting into another direction, and to understand what those possibilities are and how we can adopt another income stream, you know. And like Michelle was saying, that makes me excited. I just don't know how. So yeah, I'm just excited to know more of what your thoughts are to help that. And yeah, I think that I've answered most of the questions, all of them, hopefully. Let me know.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna go into the clarifying part. So we can go to our panelists. What I'm gonna do is just call your name and we're gonna go down the line. And if anyone has additional questions to this clarifying part of our program, just raise your hand in the panelist section. So let's start it off with Tyler. Tyler, go ahead, and if you have any clarifying questions.
Yeah, so my main stuff I got out of it was technically you're in the virtual reality kind of, or the virtual side of doing your classes, and trying to expand your market share within the virtual side, or expand just your classes and your I guess what would you call your classes, people taking the classes. And to me, it sounds like that's going to kind of go hand in hand with marketing, on how to market that to get more people coming into your business to be able to take your classes. I think that's what I'm hearing is kind of like the biggest point of your growth.
So I guess I hit a big I don't know, because I don't know what that looks like, but that's where I'm at right now. And I could see that an expansion in that area for right now would probably be smart. And I do see this platform sticking around, even if we were to open up in a couple months. Yeah, so I should expand it, yes.
Could you see it as an opportunity at that level? Because at that level, you could say, well, you can expand your virtual, and you're going to have the people that actually really dig the virtual, and you might have the people that dig the in-person thing. So it almost is a good time to actually kind of take that on, and you can have two different types of clienteles at that point.
I agree, and I don't know who goes where, and I've probably lost more than a couple handfuls of clients, and gained maybe only about 3 that I can think of. So it's like, how can I gain more, you know? Yeah, the marketing part is like, well, you know, I feel like people can feel the community in the studio, but how do I get them to feel that community online?
Yeah, these are great questions. All right, I'm going to move to Kristal. Kristal, would you like to share your question, clarifying question?
Yeah, it's going to piggyback a little bit off of Tyler's. I guess I kind of want to know, like for me, I'm a real passionate entrepreneur. Like I have to really care about something before I like expand in a way. So I guess I'm curious from you, are you feeling like you're doing more in the online as a reaction to what's going on? And if, say, everything went back to normal, would you be happier if you were to just go back to your normal old life? Or are you kind of passionate about the online growth and you would want to stick with it because you really care about it? Or I kind of want to feel where your heart lies a little bit.
I love that question. Thanks so much, because it's true. Things do happen as a reaction sometimes in order to survive, right? And I love that question because I have thought about it, and what I feel when I go to teach my first online class, I was like, I don't want to be on camera, really, like seeing all these people like look at me, and it's super quiet. I'm in a studio all by myself. I don't feel the energy physically from other people. But so we have to create our own, right? And then I got excited once I started doing it. I was like, wow, this is fun. And I really had to step out of my comfort zone, to tell you the truth. But I like it, and I love my life right now. I like that what I do love is having stepped away from the running around and physically exhausting myself, to just sit back at home with my kids, feel creative, go and teach, a few classes a week, and not be like running around all around town supporting my 2 studios. So the question is, are you doing this as a reaction? The answer is yes. And I'm exploring those options because they still make me feel excited. And I like the ability to grow in who Barstool is and reach more of the masses.
No, that
And yeah, and I like it. I just don't know at what extent. Yeah.
that's great. Thank you.
Great, let's go to Michelle. Michelle, any clarifying questions?
I was holding on the space bar. All right, to clarify, kind of your main overall is you're seeing this new switch as an opportunity. However, there's some big things to figure out still, like the logistics of the sustainability on your body and on, cultivating your team, as well as the marketing and community building aspect.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Perfect.
reached all the points, really.
Sometimes it
Thank
just
you.
helps to hear it said
Yeah.
back, because
Thank
it's
you.
not that much. And then just one quick question. It sounds like one issue that you're worried about is you've lost a few students because of the online format. Do you have information about why? Do you know for sure why they've left?
The response I'm getting is, first, there's a few that are like, nope, won't do it. The reason I like going to classes is to be in the studio. That's why I want to do it. And then the other few is monetary. I've lost my job. Need to cut out, non-essential things in my budget. And the other few are just happened in the last month, or we're just going to wait. We're going to wait till the studio opens. And so if you can just pause my membership. But I think it's just where everybody's at, just trying to feel out how long this is going to last.
Okay, let's go to Warren. Warren, do you have any clarifying questions?
Yeah, really kind of 2 parts to it. You mentioned that those that kind of opted out wanted to feel the community. And I was wondering if there are other ways that you could connect with your customers, even in this environment, even if they are in a pause mode. That's number one. And related to that, how can you even embrace this current environment to think about enabling growth for the future? So that if you're establishing these new connection points, whether they be, online or through email or even through a discussion of sorts, where you can understand them more, maybe even connect with them on a level just beyond the working out aspect of it, more into a broader health perspective, just checking in with them and knowing where they're at, so that even beyond this pandemic, you have that really strong base that you can build on.
I love it. I love connecting with my clients, by the way. For me, picking up the phone and talking with them is so much better than reaching out through email, especially in this time. And there were a few that wanted to cancel where I was like, oh, by the way, did you know that, I can reduce your rate at this time? So for one, we're willing to work with them on a membership price, and 2, wanting to provide recorded classes. So say a lot of the people are still working, they can't take our, the people that are working, by the way, are working so many hours, probably more than they were before, and can't make the classes anymore. So a recorded version is definitely available. And then what you said about having connect to them so that they can feel our community over like the Zoom meetings or whatever. I actually took this class recently where the teacher was kind of like up in the camera, just scrolling through people's form and being like, yes, like fix your right hip, and and I love that. And so I learned that recently that I want to incorporate, and it makes people work and feel like they're getting some kind of one-on-one. So that's definitely something I want to add.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then, by the way, the embracing them on this time for their health, like, what did you mean by that?
Yeah, well, I think that we're definitely in this current situation where it's a new mode of doing business. But once we're past it, how could you use this current environment to build a growth platform, if you will? So
I
maybe,
like that.
yeah.
In fact, I start Mental Health Mondays on Monday. And so, yeah, that's something that I collaborate with my teachers. So we're going to have a rotating schedule where we offer a 30-minute class every Monday for free at 5:30. And there's been some great response on that. And so that's one of my avenues that I'm trying to do to just kind of reach more people.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Thanks.
Good.
Love it. All right, Mahina, take it over.
Sure. I was just wondering, how did you come to determine that marketing is your next primary objective? Because I'm sure, I'm a small business owner as well. We have limited capacity in terms of revenue generation in this current context. So I'm just wondering, how is it that you came to that decision to spend resource and time on marketing as opposed to another objective, such as building out your digital platform or on professional development or things like that?
I guess I said marketing because I personally don't feel like it's my strength. I feel like we've kind of honed down the online version of it. So the Zoom, like, we have the mic, we have the LED light that feels like a studio form. I feel like I put the work into that to make it sound well with music. I mean, it's not perfect. I don't know if I need to work on that more. But I feel like marketing kind of came to me because I do want to reach more people, like having people from California. I had a girl from Ireland, New York, like being able to have so many people around the world come with us on one platform creates like this amazing energy that I hadn't felt before, and it just made me excited. And in the second part of your question, I didn't understand.
You responded to the gist of
I did. Okay.
Perfect. Bria, take it away.
Okay, so just such good questions, really diving in to pick apart what the challenge is. And I just want to make a few notes as we head into kind of the main portion of this. So what I hear you saying, Anna, and panelists, please feel free to either comment if this is what you guys are feeling too. The goal is to expand your audience. And a few things that you mentioned was, first of all, one of the prerequisites is that it can't be through, obviously, you teaching more than you already are. It needs to be maybe a way that delivers the community feel. That came up of like, how do you expand that community feel to the people that engage? And how do you create this platform, like a growth platform? So is there one particular thing that's kind of ringing true that you want to really dive into today for kind of the next 20, 25 minutes to explore one in particular, whether it's the community feel, whether it's aspects of marketing? I just want to make sure we're focused so we can go deep into a particular area to help you, Anna.
Community feel probably comes up for me the most, and just having it feel like, I don't know if that's my brand or if that's, I mean, that's where I feel like there's a big, I don't know.
Okay, so panelists, just a quick question to you. How do you guys feel about moving into the next part where it's both that delivering a community feel and reaching more people? So both your questions can kind of hover between those two things. Does that sound good? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, awesome.
That's a question. Tyler, you want to unmute?
Oh.
Sorry, Tyler, you're still muted.
There you go. The space bar wasn't working. One question: have you done much market research on the online basis for your business, and like what competitors are doing and what other companies are doing, and kind of looking at that side of things?
Of course not. No, I haven't. I just
I just spent the last couple minutes just doing market research and kind of seeing all the different things that are out there, and different platforms, and I think that it looked like there's probably still room in the space. It was pretty kind of cool.
Yeah, every studio out there, which is a lot, is online right now. We've all shifted to virtual classes, so it's not anything new really in this time.
Do you have a website and stuff set up already that kind of can go from there, or you have to kind of have a platform? And
the online website, barrekauai.com, you can just go there to click at the bottom. It says click here for virtual classes, and it takes you right to our schedule. So that part's easy. And then if you pick a class, it will prompt you to pay.
Perfect. Any other questions, additional questions?
Yeah, I had a question about what you said about, that energy that you felt with some international clients. You had someone from Ireland, I think you said. Do you have any idea how they found you?
Oh, good question. So there are people that were either students or traveling here. And then also from word of mouth of other students, like, hey, now you get to try the class that I always talk about. So those girls are from Chicago. Yeah, I mean, we had 7 different states at one point online with us. So yeah, it would be smart. I like that you said that, because just to reach out online or even through an email, that way to just let people know that have traveled here, that are on my mailing list, that we are doing classes. And I've sent those out. I just don't know, who opens them really.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Well, let's just jump right into it. I think we are clear on what the challenge, what the focus challenge is. So let's explore. So this part, we're going to open up to the panelists. So panelists, I know you're forming your ideas and things that you want to share and ask some questions, not kind of clarifying questions, but how we can explore further. So if you can just raise your hand, just do a raised hand. You don't have to hit the thing, actually. Just raise your hand. I can actually see all your videos. So if you're ready to jump into this part, just raise your hand and I'll take an account of who's going first, next, and last. Okay. Looks like Tyler's ready. So I'm just gonna roll. Let's go to it. Tyler, jump in, and all the other panelists, just raise your hand. I'll take an account of who's next. Tyler, your mic again.
Sorry, I gotta go first. Well, I guess for me, the biggest thing, and what the definition of this part is just kind of talking about it, kind of going straight into it. make sure I'm right on that. Okay, is trying to find how you, as being what you're doing, how you can expand your business in a positive way that's healthy for you and healthy for the people around you. I think a lot of it is maybe not you doing all the work yourself, and it sounds like you already have a good team put together that helps a lot. But that, I guess the part that might be a little bit harder is maybe stepping away from teaching probably as much and try to work more on that side that's maybe not your strong point. And a lot of times I feel that the part that's not your strong point is the best place to make your strong point. And that's kind of one of the things I always work on. I always try to find my weak points. And if I don't feel I could ever become good at that point, then I find someone better than me and I try to use them and peg off of them to help me through that point. So for you, you were saying marketing is kind of your weak point. And you might be able to find someone in this time that can maybe even donate time or help you through it, or would do it at a fairly discounted rate just because there's not a lot going on in that space. And I guess one of the marketing things doesn't necessarily have to be you spending a lot of money, but just at least getting a presence out there and trying to form the start to where you can get momentum to spend money possibly in the future. Trying to expand yourself out of this, because one of the best things about kind of being in a low economy is when you're at the bottom, there's so much growth. So you're kind of at a pivotal point right now. We all are as being business owners. You're kind of at that really hard point, and then it's harder to go too much further down once you're at that point. So the growth curve is a lot more likely. Maybe not likely, but a lot more possibility with it. So maybe everyone else can elaborate on that, but we can go from there. There's kind of a lot in there. Sorry.
I think all of that was super great, by the way. No, I try to do this in real life, real time. When I was trying to take off like a solid year from teaching, maybe going down to 1 or 2 classes a week, where before I've hit as many as 15 to 18 a week because I had to, or people left or whatever. But no, I want to be on the back end more. I think it's a great place for me to keep creating and keep building my business. It's the lack of, commitment on people's part, or people moving, or women having children. If there's a lot of reasons why, teachers leave or shift in their lives. But yeah, I would like to get there for sure.
Great. We'll go next to Michelle.
So it sounds like in order to cultivate the team that lets you step out of it, you really need to establish kind of that secret sauce of what sets your bar studio apart from everyone else. So how would you qualify the magic that you have that brings in the people from around the world and previous students and visitors?
Well, part of the magic is just people knowing what bar is. And like, if you're a bar lover, you go to the bar studios that are available where you're staying. And that's really how we get a lot of people. But we have the returning clients, that the visitors that come every year, because they just love our studio, and we get so much praise on how our, oh, this is the original Kaua'i studio, has really, captured their heart. So how did we capture their heart? I think it's from me being able to give teachers the ability to really be themselves, in the sense where I'm not telling them exactly what to do. I train them, and then I give them the reins to just have the foundation, but then be creative. So everyone has a different style and flair, and it makes the classes so different and unique that way. And that's what really, I think, attracts the people.
Awesome. So you're letting personalities shine and teachers really be their unique people, and your clients gravitate towards that because of the authenticity.
Totally.
Love it. Let's go to Kristal.
I'm just loving this so far. I heard you in the beginning talk about how one of the reasons why people aren't coming back is because they said they really like the community feel. And so that's the reason why we kind of lost them. I guess, so two things really is one, that kind of means, so like one way, how can I word this? So, well, one way that I look at things, sorry, thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. One way to look at it is when you're in the studio, you kind of get held back by a lot of things, right? So there's a lot of things that as a business owner, you're like, man, if only it was like this, then I could do this. Or, you know, for example, studio space, you are limited by your space, right? You can only have 20, 30, 40 people in your classroom. So that's a limitation. So what sort of limitations did you have that now you don't have? So now you're working on mass scale, which means you can drive the price down. You could offer free classes that cost you nothing, but can spread the awareness, kind of those certain ways. So when you think about what your limitations were, you can kind of do the opposite and kind of expand on now that's a really positive thing. So in that sense, you know, offering things like literally free classes or teaming up with larger companies that have a huge network that you really look up to, you could offer free classes to their clients just to get things, you know, team up in that way. They have the benefit of essentially offering something to their clients by teaming up with you. You have the benefit of now gaining a whole roster of new clients. So I guess my question to you after all of this is, have you thought about what your limitations were in the beginning and what you are working with now that you can use as the positive?
My limitations, are you asking in terms of me moving in the direction of online classes, right?
I guess I'm just limitations for what you were before this even happened, where your headspace was of, if I wish that it wasn't, like, for example, for me, I'm like, man, I would love to change up our special order procedures, right? But I can't because I'll upset too many clients. But now you're starting from a blank slate. So what didn't you do before because you were afraid of losing clients that now it doesn't matter because you don't actually have them anyway? So what are now your new possibilities instead of your limitations? And it's just something to kind of look at in a positive way of big steps, you know. So do you know of any like, besides the space thing that now you have tons of people, is there anything that you would have changed in the past if you could?
I think that's a great question. I guess like you, I had no experience in business. And so when I first started, I feel like we did have the masses. It was from Kauai, you know, it was, bars on island, and it was great. I didn't know how to really keep my numbers or keep all this clientele. I felt like the one-on-one conversations, I didn't even get to meet everybody that came into the studio, all the new clients, to give them the feel that we even have to provide, right? So that became challenging in the very beginning. I felt like that was there. I couldn't replicate myself, but all I could do was instill in my teachers what the feel is that we wanted in the studio, right? And I feel like we've carried that on. Like it's like it's a thing that we learn in training, and I don't know. I'm sure I have a lot of limitations, to be honest. I love the idea of a blank slate. I love the feeling of getting excited to grow to a bigger level. And I like your ideas of offering like free classes and in the form of marketing. And then you also said something about teaming up with franchises. Maybe, is that franchises or just bigger companies?
People that you want to be associated with, you know, that you believe in, that they can believe in you, that you can come together as a team and support each other.
Yeah. And so we have these specialty classes that I'm bringing in every weekend, and they're just specialty classes, meaning we get to, like you said, team up. And one of my friends owns the London method. And so I was just like, I want people to experience your class. So like, can you teach on our platform? So she did that, and she's got a whole nother reach of people. So yeah, that was great. And she came to teach for us, and perhaps maybe I can do the same for her clientele, you know, would be a great start. Yeah, I feel like I want to know more about my limitations. I haven't put much thought into that and how I can nurture those thoughts more so that I can create and be, you know my limitations so that I can like be better.
Can I make just a small comment?
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like in the beginning when you grew, it was a lot from that community. You said one-on-one, how you have people feel. And now it feels like a new way of doing business is what it seems like. And so I just want to give you encouragement that like you're smart enough and you can figure it out, and it doesn't have to be the way that you've always done it for you to be successful, you know? So just so you know.
Totally. Thank you. Oh, that's sweet.
Fantastic. Let's go to Warren.
So I just wanted to pick up on our previous conversation. You said, I have this customer list, I send them emails, but I just don't know who's opening them. You really have such a positive and energetic personality. So, and you mentioned you like calling people and connecting with people in different ways. Have you thought about, trying to use that list and actually, call
them.
It was so great that you had that Mental Health Monday thing, because in this situation, I think mental health and diet has definitely been a factor in people's health too. And you can it gives you a reason to check in with people and maybe invite them to participate. And I think that even, attracting people that are, that just had dropped in before and live elsewhere. I think there's a hunger for kind of an escape, or even like for people to want to get away and travel, but they can't, obviously. And then there's also this mystique of Kauai, and, just as a place, and your personality fits that so well. So I just wanted to kind of encourage you to use that, and maybe think of different ways where you could actually, marketing sounds like a big effort, but I think you just can start to think about like just tapping into your natural skills and seeing how you could connect, and maybe just inviting people to come and building those relationships. So that would be my suggestion to you, just kind of getting to know you here. I think that's an underutilized asset that you have.
Cool. I super appreciate that. And I really resonate with everything that you said. And I love that idea. I want to call them, and even if it's a message that I leave, right? So I really, really appreciate that. And I do like the diet aspect part of it. Not so much like a dieting, but just, how to possibly bring in like a health or nutrition portion to what we provide. Because, you could work out all you want, but if you're eating like crap, then that's 85% of it.
You mentioned like expanding your reach, and I think that with the mental health portion, and it's relevant in today's world, right? And I think having that opportunity just to kind of check in, it says that you care, and it also invites people in. So that might be an example of what you think about as you're looking to build that like platform for growth, so. Anyway.
I love that. And it's true. And you reminded me of, I used to teach yoga on the beach when I first moved here. And you know, I kind of built this little small empire on the beach where I'd look down and I'd see, you know, close to 20 people that have come to my class. And that was really cool. And so when I opened the studio, I did have like a following. So this is kind of like creating, it gets me excited to create like a small army of people that I invite to really start this new platform. So thank you.
Love it. All right, let's go to Mahina.
Yeah, actually, I too resonate with what Warren had shared, and I was gonna just vibe off of that. I really like your idea of doing a mental wellness Monday, and maybe here's some ideas that you can consider is if you can expand that offering and perhaps work with a service provider or a local farm. If you're going to include, you know, healthy eating into your offering, that's another way to build your community and build your base of followers and potential clients by partnering with other service providers. And I really would encourage you to maybe check out your local community health center and other nonprofit organizations, because they don't have the time right now, a lot of them, to actually do actual programming, and they're getting a lot of resources. And so you would be providing a public benefit, and they have resource to do that. So I think it'd be that's an example of a great public-private partnership that you might want to explore. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I like to hear your voice get really excited when you're talking about something really curated, like a Monday wellness, mental Monday wellness kind of.
Mental Health Monday, yeah.
Mental Health Monday offering. So yeah, I think that's a great way to start thinking about how you might want to expand that kind of variety and diversity.
Yeah, I love that so much. And when you say local health center, does anyone know what does that mean?
Yeah, I can look it up. There's local community health centers. They get federal and state funding. They're not Wilcox Hospital, but they provide direct service to individuals and families.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. Thank you.
Fantastic.
And I love partnering up with, like, you know, a farm, or, you know, providing that health aspect to it. I think it's going to be great too.
Awesome. So we got about 8 minutes left to the event, and so we want to move into the next part. Take it away, Bria. We have 2 more parts left, and we're going to wrap it up.
Okay, thank you, Addison. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love hearing every piece in the way that you guys look at this, and from all different directions and sides. And so just as we begin to close the session, I just want to invite, I'm going to call on you, but have each panelist share just an affirmation, maybe a strength that you recognize in Anna, as well as a recommendation, maybe a first step where you think there's the most potential to begin. So with that, let's start with you, Kristal.
All right, I love it. Well, I see all the good things in Anna. She's amazing. For the most part, I mean, your personality, your spunk, obviously that's what brought everybody to your classes. So I highly encourage you to keep on all of that. I would say with that, as a suggestion, I actually kind of have 2 suggestions. One would be maybe bringing some sort of Hawaii into your classes. There's not going to be a lot of that online. You could really offer up a beautiful service to people who have traveled here, who were born here, who don't live here anymore, who could really feel connected to the island. And yeah, so I would like to explore that a little bit. I don't know if you can incorporate that in your classes in any way, but I think it'd be a really beautiful thing, and people would really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
And then another suggestion would be, as mentioned, with the community people who are like, oh, I don't want to do the online because it's not community feel. That is a beautiful time for you to be like, well, if you've never tried it, why don't you try it? Here's a free class. You know, it doesn't cost you any money, and they can really know if it's something worth it for them. So that's just something, you know,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. Thank you. And I love adding a little bit of Kauai because everybody does want a piece of Kauai, and it's just nice to know that we can kind of bring that feel as well somehow.
It's a lot of love here. So it's nice to share the aloha and show people what it's all about, what it's truly about. Lovely.
Totally.
Thank you, Kristal. Next, let's have Mahina. Why don't you share an affirmation and a recommendation for Anna?
I love that you told your story of your origin story, that you built your business based off of what you were, the kind of engagement that you had on the beach. So continue to bring that energy and bring that core of who you are and offer that as part of your core offering, and perhaps have a special series and do yoga again, live streams from the beach. People would love to see a beautiful sunrise session or evening session. Thank you for what you're doing.
I love that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, next, Tyler, please share with us an affirmation and a recommendation for Anna.
Awesome. I just skip straight to recommendation and information. But I actually really like what Kristal said on bringing to Hawaii and kind of reiterating that. That was really awesome and phenomenal, and kind of going right into that, you know, what's your gift? What are you giving the people, or giving your possible new people? So that would be possibly a free class. I don't know if there's knowledge you can give out. So there's a lot of things you can do where you can post online with like knowledge base, like you're teaching them something they wouldn't be able to learn somewhere else, or maybe like a free class or classes on how to become a teacher. There's so many different ways you can kind of put yourself outside of like the kind of the norm, because a lot of people might be into that and eventually be able to go and teach in an actual studio. And the other one I had was cross promotions. So cross promoting with other companies on the island, because you want to keep it core to what you're doing, because it's kind of, that's what you're saying, that we can bring them back into your studio later. Trying to do cross promotions with companies that have large followings on Instagram, Facebook, and those type of things, where you can offer a certain amount of free classes or a package or something of that nature, and try to kind of peg off of that. That way you can get your feelers out there in many different ways, instead of just like, the email lists are amazing. A lot of those cross promotions really help your email list as well, going off of what Warren was saying. So I think trying to stay with as many things as you can, staying as focused as you can. The hard part sometimes is if you go too many directions, you get a little unfocused. And that's kind of a hard skill to master over time, but it's definitely something you can do with practice. But I'm trying to have as many fingers out there. Those are kind of a couple that I would start with.
Awesome.
I love that so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Michelle, how about you? An affirmation and just a first step recommendation for Anna.
So Anna, you have so many strengths. You are flexible right now. You can totally see that you can change, you can adapt. You're passionate and you're caring, and it comes through, like even in this, we see it, but I'm sure like, you know, that your students feel that. So like going back what Kristal said, like I'm just saying it over, like, yes, focus on Kauai if you can, because that really sets you apart. Like no one else is on Kauai, but everything's also cyclical. So the more you show you and your character, the more people love you. And the more they love you, the more they want to help you. And it keeps coming back. So I believe it's natural for you to do this. Make sure all of your teachers are doing this too. So they really invest in you, not just some bar class. And then lastly, ask and be specific. Like tell your people to tell their friends that they can join, and enable them to join. Give them every tool they need to share, because it's amazing that we just don't ask. We don't even think about it. But once you do, you get what you want.
I love that. Super great. Thank you.
So good. All right. Warren, wrap us up. Affirmation and recommendation for Anna.
All right. You're so creative and you're so amazingly receptive to these ideas. So take this time to really embrace that, and it's really an opportunity to write your next chapter. And I would just say that you started with sharing what some of your customers were saying about wanting to fill the community. I would say, take some of these ideas and try to build that community, and you don't have to do it alone. I think there's a lot of people, and I would also just recommend, continuing to build the relationships with advisors like the ones on this call, because you can leverage everyone's experience, and everybody wants to help, and even your customers, try to engage with them and try to help them build the community that you want.
Absolutely. Cool. This has been so amazing. Just overwhelmed. Thank you so much.
Kristal, you had one more thing you want to add?
I would love to. Thank you. And I just want to say, you've grown so much, and you have this huge presence and this huge business. Remember that it doesn't happen overnight, and like all these ideas that you're going to implement. Remember back in the beginning, it took a while to build. There's 20 people on the beach, and it took a while to get into your studio and then to build that community. And so, when you're a successful entrepreneur, as you are, you kind of get in your head and you think things need to be the same level or as big. And then you have pressure from other people almost thinking the same thing. And just remind yourself that things are a process and they take time, and that not to get stuck in how they should be right now. Because it's the beauty of building a community is the building it, not the end result. So just keep that in mind as you're going forward.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's amazing.
Awesome. This has been so great. I just want to let everybody know that we are a little bit over time, but that's okay because we're super passionate about what we're doing. If you're just jumping on and you're watching this on the record, thank you so much for joining us. This is our first Entrepreneur Hot Seat. We will be doing this, it's scheduled for at least once a quarter, but hopefully if this gets picked up, we'll definitely go a little bit more often. But I want to wrap this up with giving Anna a chance to share her remarks and her experience. I just also want to remind our attendees that if you can, please fill out the feedback form so we can see how we can improve. And if you're a small business, we'll also help you with that Facebook ad. Last but not least, we want to thank our panelists so much for being on here and sharing their time and expertise and sacrifice to be here and supporting all of us. So Anna, if you have a few words you want to share before we close up, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I think more than anything, it's so nice to have you guys feel me and my presence like over this virtual platform and just to a confirmation of how I can do the same moving forward to my new clients, right? I feel overwhelmed with gratitude. I'm just thank you so much for all of your input in how I can grow personally and in my business, of course. It's awesome. This was so awesome. I loved it so much. Thank you. Thank you, Addison and Bria, for putting it together.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to sign off. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care.
Thank you guys.
Bye.